Donald Trump lashed out at a reporter who questioned how much economic hardship he was willing to accept as his tariff policies sent the stock market tumbling. Returning to Washington, D.C. on Sunday night after a weekend golfing in Florida, Trump faced reporters as U.S. stock futures indicated more market instability. One reporter asked whether he was intentionally trying to crash the market, referencing a Truth Social video where he appeared to suggest that was his plan. "That's not so," Trump replied. He insisted that foreign leaders were eager to make deals in return for removing the tariffs, though he offered no details. Defending the policy, Trump declared it both necessary and effective even as the first round of tariffs had just taken effect Saturday, with further hikes set for Wednesday. "Those tariffs next year will make us $1 trillion, he claimed. In addition to the $1 trillion, thousands of companies are going to relocate back into the United States. In North Carolina, already, furniture people are starting to move back in. In Detroit and Michigan, car companies are starting to open up. In Indiana, a big one is under construction, Honda as an example. But they're moving in like nobody's ever seen this before." He added, "So it's unsustainable for us to allow China to have surpluses of $1 trillion. We will be taking in over $1 trillion over the next short period of time with the tariffs that I've already instituted. They're already in place. Now, what's going to happen with the market? I can't tell you, but I can tell you our country has gotten a lot stronger, and eventually it will be a country like no other. It will be the most dominant country economically in the world, which is what it should be." When asked whether there was a limit to the amount of economic pain he was willing to inflict on Americans, Trump became irritated. "Mr. President, is there pain in the market at some point you're unwilling to tolerate?" A reporter asked. "I think your question is so stupid," Trump snapped. I think I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something. And we have such a horrible as we have been treated so badly by other countries because we had stupid leadership that allowed this to happen. They took our businesses, they took our money, they took our jobs. They moved it to Mexico, they moved it to Canada, they moved a lot of it to China, and it's not sustainable. We're not going to do it now. We have hundreds of billions of dollars that's pouring into our country on a monthly basis. It's pouring. It's already started because I put tariffs on, and eventually it's going to straighten out and our country will be solid and strong again."
Happy Ram Navami. Canadian PM Mark Carney visits temple, performs rituals, shares wishes. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney visited the Baps Sri Swaminarayan Mandir in Toronto on Saturday to mark Ram Navami. According to a statement from the Bochasanwasi Sri Akshar Swaminarayan Sanstha Baps, Carney was welcomed in a traditional Hindu ceremony in the Abhishek Mandapam, where he received a rose garland and a Nada Chadi sacred thread symbolizing goodwill on his wrist. After taking part in the Abhishek ritual, Carney admired the temple's architecture and detailed carvings, offering prayers for peace and well-being across Canada and around the world. Photos from his visit were later shared on social media. Posting on X the following day, Carney wrote, "Joined Hindu community members at the @Baps_Toronto Mandir yesterday for the first day of Ram Navami celebrations. Thank you for sharing your traditions and culture with me. Happy Ram Navami." Cabinet Minister Anita Anand also posted pictures from the event, showing Carney participating in the celebrations. In response to the visit, the Hindu-Canadian Foundation emphasized the community's ongoing challenges, referencing a rise in anti-Hindu sentiment, which it attributes to separatist groups. The organization noted the underrepresentation of Hindus in Canadian politics, stating, "Despite being among the highest earners and leading successful lives, they maintain a low profile and often refrain from engaging in political decisions. This sometimes leads to underrepresentation, leaving the community vulnerable." Carney's visit comes in the lead-up to Canada's federal snap elections, scheduled for April 28th.
If you like this news and want more updates relating to this, please like, share, and subscribe.
Why Canadians can be denied entry to the U.S. The Canadian government recently updated its travel advisory for those heading to the U.S., emphasizing that American border agents have full authority to decide who may enter. Canadians are urged to comply and be forthcoming with officials, and warned they could be detained while awaiting deportation if denied entry. The advisory also notes travelers should expect scrutiny at ports of entry, including of electronic devices. Charlotte McLeod of Global Affairs Canada stated, "Our recent updates will help ensure Canadians are aware of and can comply with U.S. border and immigration rules," adding, "Each country decides who enters its borders. The decision to travel is the sole responsibility of the traveler. There are several reasons why Canadians might be turned away." Law professor Audrey Macklin explains that common reasons include lacking a required visa, having a criminal record, posing a security risk, or being unlikely to comply with visa conditions. Cannabis involvement is another frequent issue. Though legal in parts of Canada and some U.S. states, cannabis remains illegal under U.S. federal law. The U.S. Embassy warns that the sale, possession, production, and distribution of cannabis remain illegal under U.S. federal law, and violations can result in denial of entry, fines, seizure of items, or arrest. The embassy notes that Canadians working in the legal cannabis industry can usually enter the U.S. for unrelated reasons, but travel linked to cannabis could make someone inadmissible. Improper documentation is also grounds for denial. Canadians flying to the U.S. must have a valid passport or Nexus card. Land or water travelers need a passport, enhanced driver's license, trusted traveler card, or secure certificate of Indian status. Still, having all documents doesn't guarantee entry. Canadian travelers should not place undue confidence in the fact that they have done everything right. Macklin cautions, legal grounds for inadmissibility under the U.S. Immigration and Nationality Act. Reasons for being denied entry include past unlawful presence in the U.S., certain health conditions, security concerns, criminal history, or risk of relying on public benefits. As law lecturer Fernando Chamuy puts it, "We're not going to let you in if we know that you're going to work illegally or become a public burden." Russia has once again refused to agree to a full ceasefire in Ukraine, reverting to familiar and discredited justifications. As of April 7th, the Kremlin continues to reject the U.S. proposed 30-day ceasefire that Ukraine accepted on March 11th, claiming ongoing concerns. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said President Vladimir Putin supports a ceasefire in principle, but insisted that a whole series of questions have to be answered. He added, "These questions are hanging in the air, and so far, no one has given answers to them." Peskov cited supposed issues with Kyiv's control over its military and accused the Ukrainian government of failing to manage a number of extremist nationalist units that simply do not obey Kyiv. These claims echo long-running Russian propaganda portraying Ukraine as dominated by dangerous nationalist elements, rhetoric used since 2022 to justify the invasion under the guise of denazification and demilitarization. In contrast, Ukraine's military operates under centralized civilian leadership and is regularly praised by Western officials and international observers for its discipline and professionalism. Peskov further alleged Kyiv is driving continued militarization and maintained that any ceasefire deal must address Russia's interests and clarify various unresolved issues. His comments came after U.S. President Donald Trump pushed again for a ceasefire, even as Russian attacks continued. On April 4th, a missile strike on Kryvyi Rih killed 20 people, including 9 children. 2 days later, a strike on Kyiv killed 1 and wounded 3. Trump stated, "I don't like the bombing." The limited ceasefire arrangement agreed in Jeddah on March 11 covered energy sites and Black Sea operations. Ukraine accepted a broader 30-day ceasefire during those talks, but Russia rejected it unless it imposed limits on Ukraine's military and halted foreign military aid. Ukraine later accused Moscow of violating the agreement by attacking Kherson's energy infrastructure, an accusation Russia denied. Peskov responded that Moscow reserves a right to walk away from the deal if Ukraine does not comply. Meanwhile, Russia blamed Ukraine for an attack on the Sudza gas metering station in Kursk Oblast, a claim Kyiv rejected as a pretext for further escalation. On April 1st, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said Moscow submitted alleged evidence of Ukrainian ceasefire breaches to the US, UN, and OSCE. In response, President Vladimir Zelensky ordered Defense Minister Rustem Umerov to share Ukraine's counter-evidence with Washington. The US has not commented publicly. According to NBC News, Trump is reportedly pissed off at Putin's continued obsession with Zelensky. The Telegraph also reported on March 23 that Trump is frustrated with Russia's unwillingness to de-escalate. Nevertheless, while warning of more sanctions, Trump has not yet taken concrete action to pressure Moscow, which continues its military campaign.